Hi, I'm Liron Cohen.
And I'm Mimi Torchin.
And you're listening to Lady Parts TV, the podcast.
Whee!
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another podcast from Lady Parts TV.
Howdy.
We're taping this a day early, so please excuse us if there's anything that we missed on Thursday. We'll catch up with it next week, but we'll tell you later why we're taping this early.
Yeah.
For a very good reason.
Also, I'm very hoarse today, so I have to apologize if I sound too scratchy.
You sound sexy.
Okay, baby.
This is how I fell in love with you.
Oh, but you fell in love with me on Twitter. So.
I know, but then when I spoke to you for the first time, oh my.
Secrets.
Way too much information here. Let's start with our stats this week. So because we're one day short, we're also a little short on shows. We tallied only 22 shows, out of which written by women, 10, which is less than half. It's 45%. And directed by women. Wait, did I say written by men?
I don't know.
Let me redo that.
I wasn't listening.
Oh! If I said it wrong, episodes written by women, 10, which is 45%, which is very bad. I mean, not very bad, but...
It's certainly not very bad.
No, but it's not good. And directed by women, 6, which is less than a third.
It's terrible.
It's 27%.
I think the Westworld I watched...
Men.
Had a co...
the writer, yeah. I think
co-writer.
so too.
Yes. Okay, so speaking about Westworld, I've only watched one episode. It's not enough yet to talk about it. Everybody says it's very, very confusing. Yes, it's confusing, but I don't care. I love it. And we will talk more about it later and see if I can figure out what's going on.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it in a couple of weeks when you've seen enough, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so just to get that out of the way, because I know a lot of people are excited about Westworld and want to talk
and
about
they
it.
should be.
Don't worry, Mimi will talk about it. This is definitely a Mimi show. But first, we want to talk about a movie that we saw this week that we just really, really, really have to talk about it. It's called I Feel Pretty.
And it should be called I Feel Happy.
Well, and this is, you probably know about it. It's the new Amy Schumer movie. She didn't write it or direct it. Abby Kahn and Mark Silverstein wrote and directed it, so half and half. And it
is delightful. It's a wonderful, feel-good, hilarious comedy. I mean, we laughed out loud so many times. And while I love Amy Schumer most of the time, she's sometimes a little bit too crass for my taste.
She's way too crass, mostly.
Well,
and her movies past were all about sex and
This movie has a wonderful message. You are how you behave. People perceive you.
You are how you feel.
Right. And she's in every single frame, and she is just wonderful. I have fallen in love with her. And the movie is so surprising. It's so good-hearted. There's not a villain. And Michelle Williams is in it, and she's so very funny. I'm not going to tell you there's a little gimmick that makes it hilarious.
But
she's just fabulous.
I was never into Michelle Williams until recently, but I tell you, she is definitely winning me over. I am becoming a huge Michelle Williams fan. And
she's a magnificent actress.
This was such a unique character. Now, it had such an important message about. I think it made us talk. It made us talk a lot about
while we were walking home.
About the beauty,
to the subway,
the beauty standard, the double standard.
Oh, the double standard! Here we are in the middle of all of these revolutions. The Time's Up,
Me Too,
and you open a fashion magazine, and every girl is the size of my finger.
Not just a
and
fashion magazine.
And I don't have fat fingers, but especially fashion magazines.
Yes, but
I was thumbing through one at the doctor's office the other day, and they're all still heroin chic. They all look like they're like they're in another planet. None of that has changed.
No, and actually, I have a friend who works for a modeling agency, and we were going through. So he was showing me some of his models, and now I was very proud of my country, Israel. I should have mentioned my friend lives in Israel. I was very proud of my country for passing a law. I think it's called the Models Law that forbids modeling agents from hiring models that are under a certain BMI, so too thin. And I told him, wait a second, these girls are definitely too thin. And he was like, nobody enforces that law. Nobody cares about that law. So I was very, very upset about that. But it's not just the fashion world. It's still movies, TV. And, when you see a girl who's really thin on TV, do you know how thin she has to be in real life to appear like that?
Exactly, because the camera does
add pounds. And it's very upsetting. And this movie was so wonderful. She's so brave in doing that.
Absolutely.
And talk about a double standard. Then you go and look at this article.
I'd heard that there had been some pushback for some reason, so I went and I checked online, and I found a story. It was actually a very good story. I don't remember. It was some feed. They had done a lot of research. And they said that the main thing that she was getting from tweeters was that it was like fat shaming. She wasn't fat enough or ugly enough to play this character. And this writer said, oh, yeah, you're probably the same people who constantly tweet her, you're too fat and you're too ugly to be a movie star.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't win.
Exactly. You just can't win. I think she was very brave, wonderful, and the movie didn't follow any of the tropes that it could have followed.
That it could have? No, absolutely not.
And it really was.
Yes. So here's what I'm telling you: go now, thank me later.
Yeah, and it made me especially, because to me these are not new ideas, but for some reason there are ideas that sometimes you just need to watch a person go through a story to really emotionally comprehend them. And for me, that was the movie.
Yes, I'm obsessed with getting filler in my howdy doodies.
And I won't allow it.
And she won't allow it.
I'll
do it if I decide, but she won't allow it. But when I left the movie, and I also have, puffy little bags under my eyes, but I'm 71 years old, and I left the movie and I said, what the hell? I'm going to be who I am. People's gosh darn people seem to like me. That Stewart from Saturday Night Live. And I'm not going to worry about putting filler in these two little howdy-doody lines in the corner of my 71-year-old face.
If only for that.
Yes.
Thank you, Amy Schumer. By the way, my only critique of the movie is that you will be for weeks singing, I feel pretty, oh so pretty.
And you will now, for sure. Which they don't sing in the movie.
Right. So go see I Feel Pretty, and
go.
And give Amy Schumer kudos on it, because you know what? IMDb also very, very low rated. So don't listen to them.
No.
Now, we have two new shows to talk to you about, two imports, one British, one Australian. Let's start with our delightful Brits, whom we love so much.
We're very Anglophile-y.
This is a new show called The Split. It's a mini-series, 6 episodes. It's tagged as a mini-series on IMDb, so I don't know. I mean, 6 episodes is definitely a normal.
British series do.
Right, so I don't know if they are coming back for a second season, or if it's meant to be this kind of closed, It premiered on BBC April 24th, but it is already, it has a US premiere date, May 23rd on the Sundance Channel. Mark your calendars. It's the new show starring Nicola Walker. Can you tell we love her?
Yes, we love Nicola Walker. Though something I noticed in this series is that Nicola Walker always plays Nicola Walker.
But we love Nicola Walker, so it works.
Okay. Yeah.
And the creator of this show is Abby Morgan.
Did we say it was called The Split? Okay.
Is Abby Morgan, who you might know as the person who also made The Iron Lady, Suffragette, who, by the way, if you haven't seen yet, Suffragette was excellent, the movie.
But when you say made, what do you mean made?
She wrote it. So she's the creator of this show, right? And it's also, you'll also recognize Fiona Buttons, who played Tess on Lip Service.
Mm-hmm. Deborah Finley, who's on everything.
Right. Now, this is a show about...
and Anthony Head.
Anthony Head, who you might recognize from Buffy, from Imagine Me and You.
From many things.
So the show is about a mother who raised her 3 daughters by herself. They're adults now, but she raised them by herself because the father
deserted them.
Just walked out the door and never came back.
As they want to do.
And they're all, I don't know if the youngest is, but definitely the 2 oldest daughters and the mother are divorce lawyers.
Mm-hmm. It's a dynasty of female divorce lawyers.
Nicola Walker is sporting, by the way, a new bob.
Yes, and she looks very fetching.
She does. It's very weird to see her as blonde, but I love it. It's very striking.
Yes, mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's a very female-centric show about women helping women.
Yes, except for the ones who don't represent the men.
Right.
Yes.
But I think this is going to focus on helping the women.
This is especially a divorce. It looks like it's going to be
the central story.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, their family business because
yes,
the father
but Nicola
comes
works
back.
for a different firm,
right? So they are rivalries now, but also it's about sisterhood, literally. And figuratively. So it's about the family business, and I loved this show from the very first moment because this is what I crave. I crave dramas about people and relationships that doesn't need a serial killer, that doesn't need aliens, just people, families.
Well, it could use
women.
An android.
It doesn't have to have an android. Soon enough, we'll have androids everywhere in real life. So I'm relishing this old-fashioned drama about people. Mm-hmm. And Nicola Walker.
It's funny too.
It's really great, and I think and very, very female focused
and very British.
Very British.
I love the Brits.
So The Split on BBC right now, and starting May 23rd on the Sundance Channel. Watch it. Now, the Australian import is currently on Netflix. It's a 7-episode. I don't know if this is just the first season. It might have another. I do believe that it's won the ACTA Award for Best TV Screenplay for a Comedy. And it's created by Alison Bell and Sarah Scheller. And Alison Bell also stars in it as Audrey. Mm-hmm. And it's all about...
It's about a single... It's not a single mother, excuse me.
No, even though it doesn't feel like it.
It does feel like it's about a single
even
mother.
When
Although the
husband
husband is
nice.
very nice and he does, co-parent. But it just shows how hard it is to have a baby and have a life. It really, really does, and how women want to project that everything is perfect, that they're lactating great, and that their babies are sleeping through the night. She goes to a support group, but it's always a lie because it's very, very hard to have a new baby. I mean, it's hard to have children. Period. Which all the other shows you see
show you that.
Yes, doesn't matter what age they are. It's really hard.
I think also that it's funny that you started saying that she was a single mother
because that feel.
Well, because I think that no matter how supportive and egalitarian the relationship is, ultimately the burden falls on the mother.
And especially if they're nursing. Somebody actually points that out in something we just watched. That, oh, yes, because then you don't have to get up and say, oh, honey, you go get her. She has to get up and feed the baby.
Right. And also because the physical effect that it has on the body, on a woman's body, the hormones, the incontinence, all these other hemorrhoids, all these other things.
It's so glamorous. Being a mother is so glamorous.
Yeah, if you're considering
Unless
having
you're Kate
a child.
Middleton, then it is glamorous.
Yeah, right. If you're considering having a child, watch that first and then make your decision.
Exactly. I think it should be...
mandatory viewing.
Yes.
If you've already had children, watch it, and I think you can relate a lot. But I
loved it.
It's a good-natured show, but it also doesn't shy away from showing all the ugly sides of having a baby.
The ugly sides of childbearing and child rearing.
I mean, it's important because I think women do, especially nowadays. Women are expected to juggle everything. Supposedly women nowadays have everything. What it means actually is that women are expected to try to do everything and still look good and still behave as if everything's okay. It's not.
And
it's
go
hard.
through the hell of having a motherhood and baby, or when they don't sleep, and
it's very hard. But it is funny.
It's a very cute baby.
But it is
twins.
Cute,
but you only see one at a time. So
it's
precious.
called. I don't know if we've said already what it's called. We have. It's called The Letdown. It's on Netflix. If you're an Aussie, then it's somewhere there. But anyway, do check it out. It is a good show.
I liked it.
Now, this is important, people. You have almost...
You have a small window.
Yeah, you have like 4 days to binge on 2 seasons before the new 3rd season of Colony starts on USA Wednesday, May 2nd. Now, you can watch, by the way, you can binge on the first 2 seasons on Amazon Prime.
Okay. You might be able to watch it on USA too.
You might, but
then you have to watch
here's another option. This is, by the way, from creator Carlton Cuse.
Yes, Lost.
Which some of you might hold against him, but it was
me.
But this is something very different. This is very different from Lost. And if I recommend a sci-fi show,
really.
It really means that it's good.
Normally, this would be my show that I would be watching by myself in the afternoon and talking about.
No, in fact, I think that, the first season I liked, but the second season I loved. So much so that the finale we actually watched live with commercials, and I actually asked for that.
Yes. Yes. It's a very exciting show, and it's also dystopian, of course, and it has aliens, which you haven't seen yet.
Well, I have to say...
And it's very... up to date.
It's dystopian, but it actually is very current.
Very current.
And when they started this, it reminded me of the Holocaust. But as the show progressed and things happened in real life, all of a sudden we realized just how relevant this show is for now, because it's all about resistance.
All about resistance.
All the many types and ways of resistance. By the way, it stars Sarah Wayne Callies.
Who you'll remember from Lost and many, many things. I think she was also in Prison Break. Is that what it was called?
I didn't watch Prison Break. Josh Holloway, Will, plays her husband, and Peter Jacobson.
Peter Jacobson.
We just love him.
I ran into Peter Jacobson on West End Avenue one day, and I said, I love your work. And he said, oh, thank you. And I said, I even love you when you're a schmuck. I got a nice big laugh out of him, because he does usually play a jerk. But he's always a very interesting character.
There's something about him that even when he plays a schmuck, you kind of like him.
Well, he's such a good actor.
He is. He has many different layers to him.
His character, you're never quite sure where he is in this.
Never.
So it's very interesting.
This is a very, very good show.
Takes place in Los Angeles.
The premise is that aliens are taking over the world, but they present themselves as benevolent. They call themselves the hosts. What? Yes. And all these people know is that they're being put into colonies. You can think of it as ghettos.
Yes, how benevolent can they be if you're being ghettoized? And the collaborators it's like the collaborators live in Beverly Hills or Brentwood, and the rest of the people in LA live in East LA. And nothing is, it's hard to get food. That's not East LA, but I mean, then in a dystopian time.
Yes, and then there's the factory where you don't want to be sent.
Nobody wants to be sent to the factory.
Nobody knows exactly what happens there. They just know you don't want to be sent there.
And there's the red hats who enforce.
Right, and there's resistance, but people always have hope. People always, and the collaborators get all these assurances from the aliens that what their big plan is, and it's almost kind of like a cult with this religious mystical idea of what's going to happen in the end. They have this Bible that they go by or something.
If any of you have ever seen the Twilight Zone episode called "To Serve Man," where the aliens come and they're very benevolent and they live by this wonderful book to serve man or to serve mankind, and then they start sending their people to their planet, and all of a sudden they've been studying the book, trying to read what it is. Somebody runs at the ship as their wife is going on the ship. Don't go. To serve men is a cookbook.
That's brilliant.
That's what this is.
That's kind of what it is about.
This is what I think this is about.
Now, the third season, we know that they're going to get to know other colonies as well, because up until now we've only known the LA colony, and also they're moving it from an urban setting to kind of like in the woods,
sort of like the Polish resistance during the Nazis.
And also they discover now that their alien benevolent hosts supposedly have enemies, and the tagline for season 3 is "The enemy of my enemy is not my friend."
Oh my God.
It's supposed to be very dark. It is such a good show, people. Please binge on the first 2 seasons and start watching the third season.
If you're a sci-fi fan, you will love this.
And even
if you just love good television and you're kind of interested,
which is me,
in the dystopian, present that we're living in,
exactly,
you will love this show. It's very well done.
Colony on USA, third season premiering May 2nd. Binge on it now. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we gave you a heads up to check out Killing Eve because we had a feeling it was going to be good. And it is.
It really is. I love it.
Killing Eve is a show. It's on Sunday on BBC America. You can also watch it on Amazon Prime.
Starring, why would you want to?
I don't know. Some people don't have cable. Isn't it bizarre?
True. Yeah.
Created by Phoebe Waller-Bridge and starring Sandra Oh and Jodie Comer.
First of all, Jodie Comer is just a revelation. Everything I've seen her in recently, she's completely different. She was in 13, Dr. Foster. She is a wonderful, mean, crazy type of an actress. And she is so much fun in this show, even though she plays a brutal. That's the only gun for hire.
The only thing that I wish is that they had, as you said, it's overkill.
It's overkill,
literally. I wish it were a little less graphic, but she is great, and we did say that there might be lesbian undertones, and there are undertones, overtones.
Yeah, Sandra Oh is either we're never sure. Is
MI5
it MI5
or 6?
Is it MI6 anyway? And
she's on her toes.
Discovered that she's tied together all these killings that are happening
all over Europe.
Yes, and has decided it's a woman. And when they find out that's true, they put her on the case. And the premise is the killer also finds out that she knows who she is, and it becomes a cat and mouse game.
Well, she's
a delicious cat and
Jodie
mouse game.
Comer is very titillated by the
Very
idea
titillated,
that somebody.
Absolutely, it's like Black Widow. If any of you saw that movie,
that.
Again with Deborah Winger and Teresa Russell, where there's a sexual attraction.
Well, she actually gets a woman.
Oh, don't tell it.
Right. Well, anyway,
lesbian. Yeah.
Anyway, it's really good. The stakes after this last episode that we just had, the
really
stakes,
raised.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we highly recommended Killing Eve, BBC America on Sundays now. And if you're in the UK, you should go back and watch it.
I keep getting confused between Killing Eve and Mary Kills People.
It's so many kills. Very different shows, though. Now, we have to unfortunately recant a recommendation that we gave.
We feel bad when we do this.
Although I still commend them for having a gay lead.
With a gay husband.
With a gay husband. Instinct is just not a very well-written show.
It's very old-fashioned. It's retro, not in the good sense of the word. It's like Matlock or, it's
a bit
very
predictable
and not very original.
Not very, but we still watch it. It's kind of fun.
And we like the leads.
And I still appreciate what they did with the gay lead, but we just can't wholeheartedly say it's a good show.
I roll my eyes a lot through
I was hoping that after the pilot it would get better. It didn't really, but it's fun. Yeah, I have a feeling it's not going to be renewed.
No.
Now, we promised we'd tell you why we're taping this a day early, and that's because if you haven't seen my Instagram feed yet, where I've been talking about it incessantly, Disobedience
tomorrow at 2:00. Be there or be queer.
Be there and be queer. And also, you can expect to have a lesbian movie club very soon about it.
And I do know that there doesn't rhyme with queer. Just saying. Okay. I don't want to get any tweets.
We'll allow it. So we will do a lesbian movie club about it.
We will.
ASAP. And this, by the way, it's premiering this week everywhere in the U.S. I mean, not everywhere, select theaters, I guess, in the U.S. So check out your local listings.
Good luck in Iowa.
Check out your local listings and
go
check
Peoria.
It out.
That's what they always used to
Peoria.
say. Yeah. That's
anyway, thank you for joining us as usual, and we can't wait to talk to you again next week.
Okay.
Bye.